the Venus crossed the sun. When Venus crossed the sun, the new Venus arose. And I knew it, so it came as the goddess blossom. This is one of the golden color. She had several ones, and we also have the actual pictures here. And I said, so we actually have other pictures for sale for the people that's interested. But I said, this is the new energy that is on the scene. This is one coming from a small museum in France. A small museum in France that they hide a lot of stuff from. So I told him, look, in order to do this, you have to be true, because she is the form of Maya. I said when we say Maya, I said those Egyptian words are mostly generic terms. They're so old until they don't really work anymore. But the generic terms is you learn the principles, but until the actual goddess shows up with the energy. And they said, well, how do you know she's the one? I said, that's the motherfucker showed up. You know, I wasn't looking for her. She just showed up. You see what I'm saying? I did a lecture called Locksmith Return to the 108 Gate on October the 16th. Little did I know that the same day they have a festival to her in East India, or in India. I chose October 15th, the 16th, because it was the day of El Cristo Negro, which is Apollo deity, which is the crucified black Christ or Osiris, that we found out there's a festival to him every year in Puerto Rico. So I did the ritual based on that, the lecture in Atlanta based on that, and I didn't know until 2 weeks ago that was in October the 16th of 2004. I didn't know until 2 weeks ago that was actually her day. So I said, oh, but right after that, in October, she started showing up. So make a long story short, we'll get back into that. I told him, I said, look, if you're going to make this stuff happen, you must tell the truth. So we went through this long, elaborate aspect that they paid me to show them how to deal with magic. And I think and so at the end, we noticed that all of them was upset. And I'm like, I just told you what works. And it wasn't until the next morning till we found out what happened. What had happened is Dr. York called a group of his followers in Atlanta, because he's down there, you know, he's locked up in Georgia, and told these brothers to come get me to teach them with some Apollo ritual to get him out of prison. But he told them not to tell me that it was him. And so they pretended that they was interested in it as a group. They wanted to get to the next level. And that day when I broke all this stuff about the heart chakra and all this stuff on what was going to happen, they was upset because they wasn't going to be able to take no ritual back to Dr. York and report on some stuff that's going to get him out of prison. And I could have told them from the get-go. I could have saved them a whole lot of time and money by saying, hey, this nigga can't get out of prison based on stuff like that, because it's all based on what you do to the gods or what you do to the goddess. And if you're running some bullshit, you see, and don't understand that if you wasn't right in the first place, that's what locked you up in the first place.
Okay.
So I said, so he could have told me this from the get-go. So they were upset because they weren't interested in magic for themselves. They were only interested in magic to get Dr. York out so that they can continue following Dr. York. You see what I'm saying? Dr. York. And I said, see, so my point here is just to show you how this particular thing worked. Now, the thing with the Pope, and I want to do this and I'm going to go into a libation. The thing that happened with Pope John Paul is that anytime you get one of the great archetypes of the male domination or the ruling empire topple it, that's a good day for us, because we know that the papacy sanctioned slavery. We know that half the things in which holds down the spirit world, which was the ancient world, came out of Rome when they made religion or spirituality, no, they made indoctrination or religion a ward of the state, some form of fascism, and went around the world. And you go all over this planet, there's Catholicism all over the world. That's a form of fascist domination. And so we know when we have this type of thing going on, that it's a great day for us. And I want to play something for you that's spiritual, just to show you, for you people that's all caught up in the everybody's everybody, and we are the world, and people that can't get it in their head that in actuality, whenever you pray, there is no arms of Christian soldiers around the world. You on your damn own, because the people who gave you this are for ruling. A sister sent me this, a sister named Sandra sent me this from Los Angeles. This guy is by the name Brother Andre, and he's an expert on the pontiff or the papacy or the Vatican. This is a brother. And so she said, let me send it. I said, well, let me listen to this thing and see what it is. Because I said, I already know about the ruling, but when he first comes on, he's going to start reading something from the Conference of Trent. You know, you had the Conference of Nicaea. There was 8 conferences. This is the Conference of Trent that establishes the bylaws for the Pope. And I want you to hear this thing. And in so many words, 2 things. When you hear this, it goes to show you the mindset of the people that's ruling over you. And number 2, everything they're saying about him, you need to be applying to yourself. But I really want you to hear these people we're dealing with. So I'm going to put this on and let you hear this.
According to their own decrees of the Council of Trent from 1540,
Can you hear it?
1545 was when the decrees of the Council of Trent were issued by the Vatican. I'd just like to read one paragraph from the decrees of the Council of Trent, if you don't mind. It reads, quote, "The Pope is immaculate, infallible, and irresponsible to any earthly tribunal or power. He is judge of all, can be judged by none, kings, priests, nor people. He is free from all laws, so that he cannot incur any sentence or penalty for any crime. He is all in all and above all, so that God and the Pope, the Vicar of God, are but one. Wherefore the Pope hath power to abrogate laws, to dispense all things in regards to marriage, usury, divorce, homicide, perjury. He hath all power on earth, purgatory, heaven, and hell, to bind, loose, command, permit, dispense, do, and undo. Therefore, it is declared to stand upon necessity of salvation, that every human creature be subject to the Roman Pontiff. All temporal power are his. The dominion, jurisdiction, and government of the whole earth is his divine right. All rulers of the earth are his subjects and must submit to him. To his infallibility in the spiritual order and absolute sovereignty in the temporal are synonymous and convertible terms." That's just a little bit of the rhetoric from the decrees of the Council of Trent. So we can see here that the Pope basically has set himself up not as really as the Vicar of God or representative of God on earth, but he has set himself up as God himself.
But wait a minute now. It sounds like he's the man next to God. Now, do the other countries have to abide by this? Do they have to respect this?
Well, every president since LBJ has had to go and have an audience with the Pope. And if you read your Bible, I believe in the 18th chapter of Revelations, the 17th and 18th chapters of Revelations, it talks about the great harlot committing fornication with the kings of the earth. You know, anytime, when we think about fornication,
now, he's dealing with that, trying to locate that in the Bible, but understanding here, what this says here is this guy, the Pope, and I don't want to hear no shit about Pope John Paul being a good man. I've heard some conscious niggas say this stuff. Now, he did take the Black Madonna